Hi, my name is Tom Daniels, and I'm going to be talking about the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, which I will shorten to IDEA. Before the enactment of IDEA, the majority of handicapped students were barred from schools just because of their disability. Many were put in highly restrictive mental institutions. The issue with these institutes was that instead of the person with disabilities getting assessed and educated, they were merely accommodated with a minimal amount of basic needs, such as shelter, food, and clothing. The enactment of IDEA guaranteed a free, appropriate public education to each child with a disability. It also ensured that the rights of both the child and their parents would be protected, and that the government would assist states monetarily to provide this free education. Lastly, it assured that all efforts to educate the child would be assessed and well managed. Individualized education programs are written documents that detail the provisions that are to be provided to a particular student with special needs by the school. The parents of the special needs child work with teachers and special education specialists to create goals and strategies that are based off the needs of their child. In 2002, the No Child Left Behind law was signed, and it forever changed how special education was managed. It increased the standards for education, including special education, of all public schools. Schools had to set yearly targets for test scores for all their students and reach them. No Child Left Behind also required schools to hire highly qualified teachers. There were punishments for not reaching the target scores, which increased pressure for the school, staff, and students. During his presidency, Obama has discontinued the No Child Left Behind policy, but it still caused many changes throughout special education. In 2004, IDEA was reauthorized in order to reconstruct special education to meet the requirements created by the No Child Left Behind policy. The key issue was how to standardize educational accomplishment for kids with special needs when IDEA had put so much emphasis into the individualization of their education. The answer was the least restrictive environmental provision. This policy mandates that special needs students be educated in the most appropriate setting based off their ability. It encourages schools to integrate special education students into classrooms with their non-disabled peers. The reasoning behind this new policy was to move special education students into a more standardized curriculum so that they could be evaluated more easily. However, does educating special needs children in general classrooms fulfill the Individuals with Disabilities Act's requirement of a free and appropriate education? Most regular classrooms cannot truly provide for a special needs student, as well as individualized education can. The shift in an emphasis towards academic performance and away from the focus on social and emotional strengths isolates some special education students. Standardized curriculum is often not the best way to teach students with disabilities because it often doesn't address the root of the problem. Also, as the least restrictive environment provision becomes more popular, schools have been neglecting the individualization aspect of special education that some students desperately need. However, the least restrictive environment mandate pushes special needs students to adapt, which is a real world skill. There are less supports in regular classrooms, but this will help the child grow and become more self sustaining. This also allows non disabled students to be with special needs students, which normalizes the interaction with people with disabilities at an early age. Some special education experts want to abandon individualized education programs altogether. They want to make programs with curriculum that apply to multiple special needs students. This idea is less personal than individualized programs, but it will provide more specialized education than regular classrooms can give. This graph represents the categories of disabilities served under the IDEA from 2012 to 2013. This system will split these categories into multiple subsections based on careful evaluations to make sure the education and curriculum is compatible. Currently, there is no perfect system, but this topic is important to me because I have a brother named Mike who is blind and autistic. During middle school, he struggled as he was placed into non-disabled classrooms with only the help of his aide, who clearly couldn't deal with his multiple issues. I love Mike dearly, and it was very hard to see his everyday struggle just for his education on top of just living with his disabilities. Individualistic and specialized education may not be required for all students with special needs, but school districts should strive to give the best education they possibly can to all of their students.